welcome everyone. Today we are here with Miss Hogan.
Hello, everybody.
How are you today?
I'm very well, thank you.
So, why did you want to become a teacher?
Um, I I just had this when I was in kindergarten. My parents gave me a big chalkboard, and I always played teacher, and so I think it was just meant to be at such an early age. And I just I when I had my when I was in college and I got a degree in history, I just loved telling stories, and I loved hearing the stories of history. So then given the opportunity to then tell those stories and look into the whys and the whats and the whos and the wheres of history always just interested me. And then after that, I ended up getting a master's degree in special education. And it really became just a dream to be able to work with students who needed some extra help. And so I've been doing that then for some time as well.
So sweet. Thank you.
So how many years did you work at Blanchette?
I'm just completing my 6th year.
Mm. And so why did you choose to work at Blanchette? What like came by? Was it just like an opportunity that you took, or was it
So
like?
kind of a crazy story, Isaac. We were living in New York at the time, and we had decided we always said we were going to be coming home. I'd lived in New York for 12 years. And originally I was in Seattle, and then I left Seattle and went to New York for 12 years, and then I came back. And my son, my oldest son, Colin, had applied for to be admitted as a sophomore. And so the night of his celebratory dinner, we were celebrating because he got his acceptance letter that he had been accepted to Blanchette. And as a joke, actually, I said, oh, let me look and see if Blanchette has any openings. And there was my job description. And I said, I was really, really taken aback, because I was really like, oh my gosh. And so then I said the next day, I said, Colin, I'm going to go ahead and apply for that job. And he's really, and I said, I think I am. And so I did, and I Skyped my interview from New York. And then I ended up getting offered the position. So it was really almost like it was just so much meant to be. It was kind of because that was just crazy. Yeah.
Oh wow, what a big coincidence.
I know.
Did you work anywhere else besides the history department at Blanchette? And explain what you did.
So thank you, Sandra, for that question. I am also the director of the Learning Resource Program. And that originally that was the position that I took. And so with Bishop Blanchette, as well as many other schools in the Archdiocese at that time, had recognized that some students were needing some assistance with learning. And so that was, many of the schools at that time were then, having this position of learning specialist put out there. And so that was the job that I first that I received, that I accepted. And then when I accepted that position, and kind of that Bishop Blanchette had assistance for students, but then I just took what they had and then expanded it into the program that we have today, which we work with over 170 students that need some assistance. So it's really been a really successful program. It's been a great opportunity to work with students and parents and teachers. It's been a great opportunity because it's a great collaborative effort with everybody working together for the benefit of the student.
Wow, thank you. And I know I've heard you say you grew up in Montana, and then you lived and taught in New York, correct? So how did you work, or what did you work in New York?
I originally, when I first moved to New York, I had the best job. I worked in the library in the village that we lived. I loved working in a library. I recommend it to everybody because you just get to talk about books. So I did that when we first moved, and then I was a social worker working with students with developmental disabilities, and I did that for 4 years, and it was an incredible time. I worked for an agency called named Cardinal Hayes Home for Children, and when I worked at Cardinal Hayes, I also went back and got my master's degree at Mount St. Mary College. And then when I graduated with my master's, I accepted a position at Dover Middle High School. And that's where I worked for 6 years in the little town of Dover Plains, New York.
When you were working with your history classes, what was like your favorite event to like teach about?
Oh, so many, Isaac. Oh, it's so hard to pick. I loved Greek Food Day when we ended up having, being able to bring in, having that interaction with just, it's my attempt at having like Greek culture, from ancient times. So eating sardines at 8 o'clock in the morning, that was always fun. So that was good. I love, just various different kind of eras. I love teaching the Industrial Revolution. That was always a fun unit to teach about. And gosh, I loved dressing up this year. That was fun. We ended up for Henry VIII. I came dressed in as Anne Boleyn, and that's something I used to do that in New York. I actually have a couple other costumes, Egyptian goddess and Greek. I have a Greek costume, so it was fun to be able to dress up to do that again. I did that in New York I had an opportunity to co-teach, and the gentleman that I taught with, he would dress up as well. And so he would wear a toga and things like that. And then I would wear my costume, and we dressed in the Middle Ages. I was the monk and he was a knight and things like that. So I think having those opportunities to just kind of make history come alive that's always fun.
If you were to choose, which one of the eras like would you want to like teach more of?
I think we're going to be coming up on. We're just in my class right now. We're going to start the Cold War. It's cold. So we're going to do, spending time on that unit, because it ends up going into taking that unit. It ends up going in and impacting what's happening now, because we end up having references to the new Cold War. So for me, it's important that students understand so when you hear that reference, like, what does that mean? What's the old Cold War? So you have to kind of understand this relationship between superpowers and the use of propaganda and those things. I think that's really, to me, that is really interesting material.
So what was your favorite memory at Blanchette?
Having my sons at Blanchette, being able to drive to school with them every day, being able to see them in the halls and see them participate in events, in assemblies, and things like that. That was always those are one to really, it was a true gift to be able to be at this, be at the school at the same time that my kids were there. So that's I think those are great, really great memories. Yeah.
So what was your favorite event like at Blanchette?
I like Tradition Week. I thought it was always fun to see the competition to see the classes and things like that. I loved seeing the seniors in the white togas. That was always so fun to see them doing, to participating in that tradition. And then I like the moving up ceremony. I thought it was always really cool to see the classes move over, move down, move across. Just this time, because it goes by so fast. I mean, I think for students, you think back to when you were sitting in the freshman section, and then before you know it, you're next door in the senior section. And I think it just goes by so fast. But that's one of my favorite memories, and is that tradition. And I think that's a real special memory or it's a special part for Bishop Blanchette is that holding on to those traditions. I think those are really important.
Is there anything you would like to be remembered for your time at Blanchette?
I think my time, just my love for the teaching of history and my time with, again, with working with students, you know, and working with students who needed some extra support. I really hope that, that my assistants help them during their time. That I think that's what I would like to be remembered for, is just that, you know, working with students, along with hopefully facilitating work with teachers and then with their parents and things, and helping to build those self-advocacy skills for students. You know, because with being, you know, going on, you know, from coming in as a freshman, and then by the time, you know, being a little hesitant about having conversations with teachers and, you know, things. And then by the time, hopefully my help, you know, we worked on that a little bit more. So by the time you're a senior, you're ready to go to college, to have any conversation with any professor or anybody that you need to. I hope that I helped with that skill as well.
Wow, thank you. I know you have. I know you have.
Definitely.
And so moving forward, what's your plan? Are you continuing working at another school?
I have accepted a position at Bothell High School, working in the Learning Resource Center. And I will also have the opportunity to go back and teach in a co-taught environment, which, again, that's what I did in New York. And I love the energy between having two teachers in the classroom. I didn't realize that schools in the Puget Sound area had been doing co-taught teaching. And so it was a real surprise to find this opportunity at Bothell High School. And so that the opportunity to go back and work in that environment, and then also work again with students, work full time with students with learning challenges. I hope to, to really fulfill that, this dream of mine, to be able to do that. So that's my next chapter.
We've answered the favorite events, but as far as teaching goes, what is like one of your favorite memories just from teaching in the classroom? This is a question that was submitted by Lauren Crum. So, yeah.
It's the interaction with students. I think it's when, especially this year, we came up with a great song to remember the countries of Eastern Europe. And it worked really well. And I love that the students they embraced it and they used it. And that's as a teacher, that's something that's really rewarding to see that, something clicked, and then the students are going to be able to take it from there, and then always have it. Because that's another thing, as a teacher, it's a philosophy. I don't like just teaching for just that day. I want students to remember, to think, oh, I remember that, or I remember hearing that. So the whole thing about learning those countries of Eastern Europe to the tune of Tub Thumping, that when they hear that song, they're going to go right to remembering their countries of Eastern Europe. So as a teacher, that was a great memory, because it was Josephine's class, and Sandra, were you in the class in that? Yeah, the first semester. Yep. And so then we were able to, you guys really took it and ran with learning. So that's going to always be a nice memory.
I go to Greece, then Albania, then I go to
Kosovo, I think.
Go right to Macedonia.
And I
don't need no pole.
Romania, and on to
Kosovo.
Take a left to Slovenia, and then I start again. There we go.
Thank you.
Yeah, so definitely remember hearing that ringing through the halls for a good month.
Okay, this question was submitted by August. What are the folder competitions and can you do it this year?
It's been so interesting because I give Isaac, I give my work and then I receive work back in these folders. And it's interesting because of the decorations or the drawings and the art that comes out on those folders. And I have to say though, because instead of taking notes that they might be drawing on these folders, I hope not. I hope I hope the decorations and the drawings come after. We're not supposed to be taking, we're doing classwork. But some of them, August, Helfrey, have their, I love, he has on August's folder, it's all these people and it's, oh my gosh, he's so talented. And so he ended up, I'm in the group, he showed me, he said, here I am. And it's me this day that I wore this sweater, my hair is in a ponytail and there I am. And so it's my hope though, that, and I should probably find a way to get those back because then I was gonna start doing it this year because I held on to the folders from the seniors that are graduating this year and I have their folders and I was gonna give them back because so many of the students, it's interesting what they end up writing on them. Kevin Spear filled his with circles. And so he's just been filling in the entire folder with circles. So I guess, I don't know, there might, if there's gonna be an award, that would be challenging because there's some folks that I end up getting historical, like, so who was it? Somebody did fabulous nights. They did all these nights in their folder. So I don't know if I could even give an award, but I would love to give recognition to everybody who does some fantastic artwork on their folders. That's so fun.
Well, I've been so lucky to have you as a teacher this year, and anyone who's had you, it's so lucky to have you. And one of my favorite memories, you brought it up earlier, was when you came in dressed up. And it was so amazing because that morning we came into class and the principal was there and he was saying, we have a sub today. And he was very, very serious and I totally believed him. Everyone did. And then I was like, oh, I'm going to miss Miss Hogan today. It's going to be a boring class or something. And then the bell rang and he walked in. Well, it was not really you. But
Anne Boleyn walked in.
She's fabulous.
And with an accent and everything. And that was so amazing. And well, thank you for everything you've given to this school.
Thank you, Josephine. It's been a pleasure. It really has been a wonderful pleasure.
Please come back and visit. And
I will.
okay.
Yes. Graduation and everything, that will be, yes.
Okay.
And so I'll be keeping tabs with some of some of my teacher friends and so they'll be able to, you just have to ask. I know I'll be touching the base with Mrs. Reinhardt. And so you can just ask Mrs. Reinhardt, hey, how's Miss Hogan doing? Because I know Mrs. Reinhardt, Mrs. Stewart, I'll be touching base with those folks too. So, but I will miss everybody very much, very much.
Well, thank you. Thank you for talking with us today.
You're welcome.
Have a wonderful rest of your day.
Thank you. Thank you.